This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 3 and verse 22. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. Shalom, shalom, Akim. Before I begin, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Hoshai, Bahashem Kakodash. All right, double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right, Huru and Tetro. Peace and salutations unto the elect. Okay, I'm the brother Gabar Allah coming at you with another video, man. You know, another Lord willing exhorting video for the Akim, who are out there listening in truth and in sincerity, man. So pretty much a lot of times, you're gonna mess up in this truth, man. Okay, you're gonna mess up in this truth, you're gonna fall short, you're gonna you're gonna do things you don't want to do. You're gonna feel like fuck, why do I keep why do I keep failing in this? You know? Why do I keep failing the Lord? Why do I keep going off? The Lord gave me this truth, the Lord gave me this, the Lord gave me that, and why am I still going off? That's where a lot of people mess up, man. A lot of people get consumed from these falls, um mess ups. Okay, a lot of men deal with a lot of things, man. A lot of men go to work, and sometimes, you know, you do things that you didn't want to necessarily do, man, and, you know, part of that, part of that is, part of that is having to, get or not get overwhelmed by the falls of this thing, you know. Slovakia, you know, part of that is having to understand that the Lord is merciful every single day. That's why I opened up Lamentations chapter 3 and verse 22. It is of the Lord's mercies, okay? It is of the Lord's mercies, you know, that we are not consumed because his compassions fail not, right? We are not consumed that his passions fail not. So we don't have to worry about those times, well, not worry, but we don't have to pretty much get bug out with the things that we deal with every day, with the demons that we deal with every day, you know, that we deal with every day, and it is gonna be a fight, it's gonna be a fight that a lot of times it's gonna feel like you're losing. Okay, a lot of times it's gonna feel like you don't know what's going on. A lot of times it's gonna feel like the Lord, gave up on you. But it's not how you feel that necessarily accounts for the Lord's mercies. The Lord will have compassion on who he will have compassion on. And you have to have faith that you are one of those people that the Lord will have compassion on, you know. So it says, they are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness, right? So if the Lord's mercies are new every morning, don't worry about what you did yesterday. All right? Don't worry about the fall that you did yesterday. His mercies are renewed every morning. Does that mean that you can just go off willingly? Of course not. You know, you have to continue to fight. That's what the Lord is looking for. All right, the Lord don't want no chump who falls one time and doesn't succeed, man. Think about a math test or think about an exam or a subject. Okay, say you're stuck on a game. Say you're stuck on something that you really want to do. All right, something that you really want to do. Say it's a video game. All right, there's levels to video games. Okay, so if you fail and you just give up, you're never gonna pass. You know, you're never gonna pass that video game. All right, but it's constant. You have to do it over and try again and try again and try again and try again. Every single time you gotta make sure that you're doing better. You know, and a setback shouldn't set you apart from the Lord's love and mercy. Okay, real quick, real quick. Bear with me, Akim. And I'm really rolling through the spirit, man. I'm really rolling through the Rakakudash. This is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 35. Now I want to slow down, man. That's Satan, man. It's the book of Romans, chapter 8, and verse 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Yahweh? Shall tribulation, or stress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? Right, so they're asking you, who's going to separate you from the love of the Lord? Are these things going to separate you from the love of the Lord, man? Okay? Is tribulation, what you're going through, really going to set you apart from the love of the Lord? How much faith do you really have if when you go off, when you sin, you automatically lose faith? Okay, how much faith do you really have that the Lord is going to forgive you? All right? Because in every single action you do, every single thing you say, everything, it takes faith. Look at the spirit that the Lord allowed you so that you can make all these videos, all these lessons, all these camps, send up all them prayers. You're doing all these things to the spirit of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. He's obviously dealing with you. You're obviously supping with the Lord, man. The Lord is obviously supping with you. Okay? Why would you give up now? All right? It says, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long, who are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Yet, nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that love us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any creature shall be able to separate us from the love of the Most High, which is in Yahweh HaMashiach our Lord. Right? Nothing should be able to separate you from the love of the Lord. And you have to have faith that the Lord is really dealing with you for this. You have to have faith that the Lord is really supping with you. Okay? Because once you have that faith, man, once you have that faith, okay, once you know that the Lord is dealing with you, man, once you have that, the spidey sense, you know, and nothing should be able to separate you from the Lord. Because you need to have that faith. All right, say you're going through it, man. Say you're just going through it, you know. Say you're just going through it, and everything's going wrong for you. Everything, okay? You have to account for the scriptures. What do the scriptures say when you think that you're going, when nothing's going your way? The scriptures say we're gonna go through tribulations. You think you're just gonna read past that and it wasn't gonna happen to you? Come on, man. Of course they're gonna happen to us. Some brothers are gonna have more tribulation than others. But that's all right. That just means that the Lord is gonna give you more. And to the brothers who um can account for that, okay? How many times you man, how many times you just send out prayers, man? You crying, it's nighttime, you crying, you just want to go home, man. You want the Lord to come back today. Those are them tribulations that you go through, man. You know, you think Job wasn't crying at night when he went through what he went through? You think Job wasn't crying when he lost all his sons, his daughters? He lost everything. You think Job didn't weep? Of course he wept, you know? But why is Job looked on as such an righteous man? It's because he had faith that the Lord was dealing with him. Nothing was separating him from the love of the Lord, man. That's how you gotta move. Nothing will separate you from the love that the Lord has. Okay? Let's grab one more and then I'll close out. This is Psalms 103 and verse 8. The Lord Yahweh is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and plenteous in mercy. Right? That's talking to you, Akim. To you sincere brothers, to you sincere sisters. Okay, you Akim and you Aqua. It's talking to you, man. You know? You really think that the Lord isn't going to show you compassion? You following the Lord. You're doing your best to follow the law, statute, commandments for the Lord. You're doing everything you can to please the Lord. The Lord is going to be pleased with you. Okay? Because when you go off, the angels will report that to the Lord, but the Lord not necessarily gonna glance over it, but he's gonna show you mercy. If you're sincere, you're gonna fall short. It's gonna happen. Okay, you're gonna sometimes you're gonna uh how do I say it? You're gonna buy on the Sabbath, or you'll give in to something. It's gonna happen. When it does, you have to remember that the Lord is merciful. Okay, so you know, with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. Lord willing, it was uplifting. Lord willing, encourage you, Akim, to really trust in the Lord, man, because we're coming into a time where all that wavering faith, all that it has to stop. Okay, really, it has to stop because we're gonna need, you're gonna need to have 100% unwavering faith. You're gonna have to trust in the Lord so much that you're gonna fall off a building and you're gonna say, "The Lord gonna save me somehow." So with that, Lord was edifying. I want to give